Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. Good morning, because today you're getting a couple episodes. We're going to finish these previews, but good morning because this will be the first episode to drop. And we are doing the Oakland Raiders preview. Um, we did Denver the other day. We are on to the Raiders. Okay, the Raiders last year finished 8-9, then ended up firing um, general manager and ended up firing the coach. All happened October 31st. Josh McDaniels was fired. He was 3-5. Antonio Pierce was the interim head coach. He went 5-4. So they finished 8-9, and he kept the job. Um, yeah, which might as well. The players love him, so keep him there. Give him a try as a full time head coach. Um, Obviously, there was some changes to also coordinator. They got Luke Getzey, who used to be with the Bears the last couple of years. He becomes the offensive coordinator. They did keep the defensive coordinator, Patrick Graham. He's still there, so not a lot changed. Only a few things. Um, Marvin Lewis was hired by Antonio Pierce to be assistant head coach, and there's some influences out here. Joe Philbin, senior offensive assistant. So there's some people who were hired um, with some experience to help out the first time head coach. But anyway, they got rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. They let Josh Jacobs walk in free agency. Devontae Adams is still there. In free agency, I guess you could say their biggest signings are Christian Wilkins was the biggest one. Um, Last year when they went 8-9, they finished the season because Jimmy was hurt or bad. They finished the season with Aiden O'Connell. They did bring in uh, Gardner Minshew. He wins the job, by the way. By the time we're recording this, training camp's over, all that's over. He was named the starter to start with. The veteran, Gardner Minshew, is the starter. At running back, eight, eight, Aiden O'Connell will be back in Gardner Minshew up, obviously. At running back, we have Miradula, Alexander Matheson, and Zamir White. There's a lot of just guys there. I've been a big fan of Zamir White. Let's see if he gets all the carries. Receiver, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers. That is all they have, honestly. Uh, they drafted Brock Bowers. They already have Michael Mayer. We'll see, with the lack of receiving, if they go two tight ends and use both of those guys who are athletically gifted, and we'll see if they go there. And on the line, um, they did sign Cody Whitehair, a veteran guard. They just signed Andrews Pete, veteran tackle. They had Colton Miller at the one tackle. They had Andre James is coming back. Dylan Parham. So they got some guys. We'll see. The lineup can be okay, but there's a lot to take care of. Defensive line, we know about Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins, who they signed, um, Tyree Wilson, who is going into his second year. Um, at the end, so they got Crosby, Wilson, Christian Wilkins in the middle. Um, so the line's not that bad. I actually like them a lot, especially with Max Crosby taking over there. Linebacker, I mean, they got two guys, Robert Spillane and Devine Diablo. We'll see what they can conjure up there. defensive backfield, not a lot of anything to look forward to. Just a lot of guys. Safety, they got Trevon Morig and Marcus Epps. I mean, not a lot to be looking forward to. This team, although I like Antonio Pierce and I do like they have Devontae Adams, I do like Zamir White, Brock Bowers, and Michael Meyer. And their defensive line is good. Everything behind them isn't really that great on defense and offensively. I mean, we'll see what Garner can do as a full time starter. That's not what he does. That's not what he's ever done. So we'll see. It is yet to be proven. I can see this team once again going 8-9, 9-8, or even 7-10. This team, there's a lot of lack of talent here. Um, in certain areas, not the whole team. They do have, their main staples. But we'll see, man. It's a tough division. Like I said, think even though I kind of pooped on Denver, I think Denver is a little slightly better than this team. I will say that like the problem with the Raiders for me has always been like from the top. Not saying I'm not saying that Mark Davis is like a bad owner, but he's too involved, honestly. And that can be a good and a bad thing so far. Like it's been a bad thing. We'll see if they can turn around with they hired Tom Telesco as the general manager. He used to be with the Chargers for years as general manager. We'll see if that can stable them. But this roster is poop. I have no other way to describe it. I don't see them improving. Honestly, they're either going to be the same or lose one or two games more than they did last year. Um, but that bottom of the AFC West, as I'm gonna keep describing when you see the rest of the teams, that bottom, obviously we know who's at the top. That bottom between the Raiders, the Broncos, and the Chargers, I mean, those guys, who knows? Yes, the Chargers are slightly above average in both of these teams we talked about, the Raiders and the Broncos, but we'll talk about the Chargers next, on the next episode that will drop today. But yeah. I mean, just going down the schedule, let's think about it. They got the Chargers. It's in LA. Um, I think the Chargers get this slightly, but the Chargers get this at Baltimore. Baltimore's got that. Carolina comes to the Raiders. The Raiders will probably get this win because Carolina's kind of in the same mess that they are. But the difference is they have a quarterback. Um, the Browns at home. I think the Browns get that at Denver. Um, that one's up in the air, honestly. I don't even know who to pick. I forget who I picked in the Denver one. The Steelers, I think the Steelers get that. At the Rams, I think the Rams get that. Kansas City, I think Kansas City gets that. Cincinnati, I think Cincinnati gets that. The Dolphins, I think the Dolphins get that. Broncos, once again, up in the air. Kansas City again, I think Kansas City gets that. Yes, I know that they play Kansas City hard, and it's a division game. That is a thing. Um, at Tampa, could be up in the air. Falcons, I really do like the Falcons a lot this year. I don't know if they're gonna like make it to the Super Bowl, but yeah, I'm gonna say the Falcons win that. Jacksonville, maybe up in the air, man. Jacksonville's, like I said, hard to predict. New Orleans, they'll probably win that, and then the Chargers again, maybe they split. But I don't know. Just looking at the roster overall, I like Gardner as a backup. I don't know as a starter how I feel about that, but I don't know. I don't know if they're going to improve on their 8-9 record. I think it might be either the same or they'll lose one more game or two. But it's going to be hard for the Raiders. For sure. But yeah, that was your Raiders preview. Stay tuned today for the extravaganza. We got two more teams in the West to discuss. We'll come back with the Raiders. Um, later on today. All right. Peace.